Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So this week's match was supposed to be Battle of the Ancients, but due to a huge misplay, that didn't happen. I had to take that video down almost immediately after I posted it. And so anyway, but I'm going to go ahead and jump into the next deck profile to at least cover it in the meantime until I can hopefully maybe get that match set up again and get another recording in for you guys. Hopefully I can get that by the end of the week. But at this point, I don't know if I'll even be able to get that match recorded or not before we have to move on to next week's agenda. We'll have to see. But either way, I still want to get this deck profile done because I still think this is a very fun deck to play. Whether it's meta or not is not really the case. I think we all can pretty much establish that this deck didn't do anything in Japan. And even with the promos, it's still just not as great as it should be. But I think it's still a fun deck. Whether it's worth the price tag either is totally on you. Me personally, I can't quite justify the Lobomons for just a fun deck, a great casual local kind of fun deck. I would not want to take this deck to a tournament. We'll discuss all these reasons of why, but I still think it has a crazy amount of potential and a whole lot of just raw power behind it. I mean, we're talking like OTK green levels of just absurd power. All right, let's get into this. Also, don't forget this month's Patreon reward is Omnimon. So if you're playing yellow or you're going to be playing blue, going back to the Omnimons, you're going to definitely want this little guy. Great memory marker. It's made of clay, handmade by my wife. So cute, super adorable, great memory markers, and it is so this month's Patreon reward. Definitely go check that out. The link is in the description below. So let's get into this deck here. Right off the bat, we've got Digimon back at 4 of. Okay, now you're thinking, well, I mean, that's how 1.5 started, was with Digimon. But then over time, everyone that stuck with Red, everyone pretty much made the transition back into Coromon because it was all about turboing out Omnimon or Alter S, one of the two, which means very efficient, just digivolving all the way up into 6s and then into 7s. So Coromon was actually incredibly live in that deck. You never want to swing with any of your lower stuff anyways, so Coromon was just the better of the two because Digimon wasn't live, for several turns until your opponent's got 5 things in the trash. I mean, that could be turn 3, 4, 5, just depending on how slow the game is. But now I think Digimon's actually in a lot better place just due to all the digi-bursting going on. I mean, all these level 4s and these level 5s and level 6s that are all digi-bursting, just filling up the trash so fast. So I think Digimon definitely going to be a lot more beneficial now than he was previously. Also, we really kind of want this 1000 DP buff on one of our level 5s that we're running here. So we'll cover that in a bit. Next up, though, we got the Argomon, we have the Agumon next. And we just love Agumon, right? That 1000 DP is just great. Red is very swing with big things and do a whole lot of damage. So having a DP buff is always really good. I mean, that's why we play these eggs that we do, as well as the Agumon, just to get that plus 2000 DP buff is just really good. We definitely need it. Next up, we have a new card here, Flamemon. This is our searcher for the hybrids, right? So on play, 3 cost, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon card with hybrid in its form, and or 1 red tamer card among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. So Red has a searcher now. Red hasn't had anything like this. Not a whole lot, draw power or search power besides a Ragnalordmon theme deck. So now we got a little bit something else, a little bit more generic, just to kind of help out. Really great. We can now reliably play Tamers and search them out, as well as we can add the Agunimons that go with the Tamers, as well as just our promo Agunimon as well. This helps search out a lot of key pieces that we need. But however, I do want to stress, this does not search. You cannot add the ancient. Okay, this is what was our big misplay in our game, was we added the ancient off of one of them, and that was huge. You cannot add the Ancient because they are not technically hybrids. They do not have the little tag down here that says hybrid, so you cannot do that, which really is honestly what's holding this deck back tremendously, because having a searcher to search off like your key combo pieces and not being able to get the most important piece of the whole combo, and if you do flip it up, you have to send that 1 of 4 copies to the bottom of your deck. Yeah, that's crazy bad. Imagine playing Shine, right? Shine Greymon in 1.5 and not being able to add it to your hand when you needed to. Like, say you played a TK to search your security stack to add something to hand. If there was a Shine in there, like, you couldn't add it to hand. Like, imagine how terrible that would be. That 1 of your single 4 copies, like what your whole deck is built around, is there, and you can't add it to your hand. I mean, this is pretty much just as bad. You reveal it, and you have to send that copy to the bottom of your deck, which in this deck, like, this is a very aggro deck. You're not grinding out. You're never going to get to the bottom of your deck when playing this deck. So to say, well, you could still draw into it is just complete and utter BS, okay? Let's be real here. You're not going to draw every card in your deck to get to that very last one again. It's not going to happen. So definitely what's holding them back is the fact that you can't add those. But either way, he's still really good. I mean, even for just a red deck in general and moving into the future, just being able to add a tamer off of it, as well as your level 4 hybrids, you can still run your other Agunimons from the main set and still get, you know, that benefit from the Flamemon. We do also play the level 5 as well, so we can add him also. So he's still good. The deck still functions. It's just, it could have been better. Alright, next up we have our Biomons here. Red, it struggles in the memory game, okay? Besides having a memory fixing tamer on field, like, that's all they've got going for themselves. So having Biomon just to help make plays happen, right? I mean, you can Digivolve her on top of your baby, and then hard play the Flamemon to, like, search for what you need. Next turn, you can crash her, hopefully into security, and then Digivolve, you know, on top of your Flamemon now because you got more memory. Biomon just helps make plays, where, you know, anytime you have any sort of memory gaining ability, you can just make plays where you previously couldn't make plays. Next up, we've got, just rounding it off, we do have 2 Monodramon, just for that play cost of 2. Really, the only hard playing stuff we're doing is the Flamemon as well as the Monodramon. In blue, I didn't run any vanilla rookies just because I felt like we had so many good on-play effects already between the Flamemon and the Gabumon for the draw. Like, I didn't really need any rookies because I already had, like, over half my rookies were great on plays anyway. But red can still get away with playing them just because we only had the 1 on-play effect. I did think about, instead of the Monodramon, I thought about running the Guilmon. Just, again, he's basically like a watered-down version of Agumon, getting that plus 1,000. Same argument that I made for the Gigimon is that you can get that live so much easier than you used to because of all the Digiburst. But I did decide to go with the Monodramon just for that, because we could use a few more on-play effects or on-play that are just, you know, cheap. All right, next up, we've got the Agunimon. And this is the one that Digivolves on top of Tamers, so we can treat Tamers as if they're level 3 Digimon. These are just great for stealing games. I mean, same with the Lobomon. A Lobomon can just steal a game. You just clear all 5 security, you have 2 memory left, just boom, go into a Agunimon for 2, and then swing for game. You know, you're going to want to do this basically just to, when your opponent thinks that you can't game them, right? It's like, okay, you don't have any Digimon in the raising area, and you've only got this 1 Digimon on field to swing with. I just need to play 1 blocker, and I'm good. And then they pass it to you, and then boom, you just Digivolve that Agunimon on top of that Tamer, and, you know, it's off to the races at that point. You pretty much got it in the bag. So just as a 2-of, though, because I think he's just mainly here for that 1 last final play. You just want to draw into the single copy and hold it in your hand until that time comes where you're ready to push for game. And I think that's when you're going to bring the Agunimon out. So, and with the Flamemon, you know, we can search into him a little bit faster even. But to add him in here, I did take the Quadramon down to 2. I know, crazy, cutting our blockers down, but this deck is so crazy fast. I talked about it in another video, but literally these the red and blue deck, they're both so fast, but red could literally win in 3 turns. I'll discuss how, but yeah, in 3 turns is just absolutely mind-blowing, because you can't attack the first turn. You go, you Digivolve into something, but the next turn you can, and then the follow-up turn you can win. So yeah, just, I mean, green OTK is still takes time to green OTK as well. You need to get all the way into a level 6 to be able to do that, and even then you don't actually win on that same turn, whereas this you can win on turn 3. Okay, so yeah, I cut down the blockers just because we're trying to win so fast, and that's the idea here, is to go with more consistency rather than like slow down to allow us to build up things. Corgimon at a 4 of in like an Alter S or Omnimon deck, we're trying to turbo these level 7s out. It takes a while to get into a level 7. Even being as memory efficient as possible takes time. So having blockers was fundamental then. With this deck, we can do it. I mean, we can win, twice, 3 times as fast as Omnimon can with this deck. All right. So let's go and look at what's kind of really making all of this possible, right? Greymon, we still love Greymon. +1 security, what is not to love about this? One of the best level 4s in the entire game, honestly. 2 memory to evolve in on level 4, that's pretty standard. Yeah, no complaints about Greymon. Next up, we've got the promo Agunimon. This is the one, so when attacking, this Digimon can Digivolve into an Ancient Greymon in your hand for a memory cost of 2, ignoring its evolution requirements. If it does, delete it at the end of the turn. So you can go into your Ancient Greymon on top of this guy mid-attack. What I found out with the Lobomon was I kept running into the issue is I'd have to Digivolve it and then go into the Ancient Greymon immediately after, because it was a when Digivolving effect and not a when attacking effect. And that actually messed me up more times than I thought it would, because I could never Digivolve that Lobomon in Raising. Okay, it had to be a rookie on field to go into that Lobomon to get that when Digivolving effect. So I couldn't like set it up a turn before. So like say I go first, right? I Digivolve into my rookie, draw my card, and now I've got to either hard play something to pass my turn or Digivolve into something, because you're going first, you're at 0 memory. I could never go into the Lobomon to pass my turn to set up that play for the following turn. Red, though, red can get away with this. It can just go into, whatever rookie and then go into the Agunimon on top of that to pass turn. So when it comes back there, they promote the Agunimon, swing with the Agunimon, and immediately get a Digivolve. So I love that factor. It's way better. I think the when attacking is so much better than the when Digivolving, because even the when Digivolving, it's cheaper. It's 1 to Digivolve rather than the 2 that Agunimon is. But you still have to have 3 memory to get that off. At least with this, you only need 2 memory. 2 or 4, but even if you only have the 2, when you do that attack, the attack still goes through before the turn passes. So even if you're at 0, when you Digivolve into the Agunimon, when you attack, you'll go give your opponent 2 memory, the attack will go through. So absolutely wonderful. Also, the inheritable really isn't that bad. We can customize the deck to plan for this, and when Digivolving one of your Digimon into an Ancient Greymon in your hand, reduce its Digivolution cost by 2. I'm pretty sure they did change this text. You have to Digivolve on top of this one. So this inheritable has to be the inheritable on the Ancient Greymon. You have to go into it on top of this Agunimon, whatever the level 5 is on top of this one. So just keep that in mind. You can't go like, oh, I've got this Agunimon over here under a level 5, and then I've got this other level 5 over here. You can't go on top of that other level 5. It has to be on top of this one. So not the ideal play is to do this, but say you're just going first and this is the only level 4 in your hand. This is the play you got to make. Just go into this, and even if you don't have the Ancient Greymon in hand, you can eventually get into it later. So you're like, okay, well, I just need to go ahead and go into my level 5 now. So you can go into your level 5 now, and then maybe another turn or 2, you'll finally draw into that Ancient Greymon, and then now you can actually go into it. So I do like that, just keeping the options available. Next up, we have Voltdramon, another new one to the list. If you'll notice, I went completely away from the just being memory efficient. Because, okay, my thought process on going away from those is we were trying to turbo into the level 6s and these level 7s with the Omnimons previously, like in 1.5. So, we don't really need to do that as much. We're just trying to get into a level 6 or even a level 5. And we're going to cover this Aldamon in a second. This Aldamon is crazy. But we're also playing more tamers now, more memory fixers than we used to play. I'll go ahead and give it away. We're playing 3 memory fixers now, so getting to 3 memory at the start of our turn is a lot easier than it used to be, so we can actually go into these and not pass turn and still do other things. So I don't mind the 3 memory cost evolutions nearly as much anymore, and red loves security attack, okay? So having a Greymon and a Voltramon under a level 6, that thing is about to start putting in work. That's 3 security it's clearing every single turn. Absolutely phenomenal. All right, let's go into this Aldamon, though. Okay, so security attack +1, just inherit. So if you go on top of like a Greymon with this guy, he's checking 3 security, all right? And you're like, oh, level 5 checking 3 security. Okay, 7,000. Yeah, but his other effect, gain +4,000. So now he's at 11,000. You know what's pretty much the meta is filled with right now? Just crap loads of 11,000 DP level 6s. There is some that are, you have your Nidhogg's, which in most decks aren't maxed out because of no hidden potential. So people have cut the Nidhogg package down a good amount to 2 to 3 copies of Nidhogg. And then Chaosmons, which Chaosmons, even in yellow or green, are pretty much run at 2 ofs, maybe 3. That's not a whole lot in security you have to worry about like running into. It's mostly just these weak level 6s and a lot of other weak stuff. So getting into 11,000 is pretty solid, and then we just need our Agumon or one of our Gigimons here that's live. Either one of these will put us at 12,000 on Aldamon during our turn. That's clearing everything, okay? This is incredible. Aldamon can win you games so fast. Because normally you think, well, I got to get in my level 6 before I can really start clearing security, right? No, you can just go straight into Aldamon and start winning, okay? This is how I was talking about. This is how you can win by turn 3, and it's with Aldamon. So, incredibly powerful card. So the thought process behind this build is you can go into whatever your rookie is. Ideally, Agumon for that 1,000, but it doesn't have to be. It can be any of these other ones. Okay, and then go into your Greymon on top of that. That's going to pass your turn, right? So then your opponent's going to go, and if they put you at 3 memory, right, on their very first turn, then it's going to come back to you. You raise that Greymon out, go into Aldamon, and immediately swing, because they're not going to see you swinging that fast with red. They're like, red, all right, red likes to build up in their level 6s. I don't have to worry about that. Even if I give them 3 memory, they can't swing that fast on me. They'll go into, they'll pass it back to me at 1. That's probably what they're thinking with red. But so it's just nuts. You can go into this Aldamon, swing, clear 3 security. It's still your turn. Play out a rookie, whatever, your 2-cost Monodramon, whatever it is, pass it back to them, and now they're on a time clock, right? Because as soon as they pass turn, Aldamon swings, clears those last 2 security. Even if if they're playing yellow and they recovered 1, recovering 1 still not enough. That puts them at 3. Aldamon's still swinging, clearing those 3 security, and then whatever that rookie that you played is going to win you the game. So literally turn 3 can win you the game. Now, that is an ideal situation, right? That's not always going to happen, but it's actually a lot easier to happen than you think. One, they just don't need to play a blocker, which, that happens. That at least one game, I'll never draw into a blocker. It just never fails, pretty much. I will not draw into a blocker one game. And the real stick in the mud is they have to put you at 3 memory. That is the hard part of it, is if that happens or not, who knows. If not, it might take you 4 turns to win. Okay, so, sorry. It's going to take you 4 turns to win instead of 3. Still, though, Aldamon, incredibly powerful. Loving this guy. All right. But that's not where that's not like the point of the deck is Aldamon. He's just an incredibly powerful piece that could potentially win you the game. If not, we have our actual strategy of the deck, because he's not even the main strategy. Ancient Greymon is ultimately the big boy of the deck. He is our 4 of level 6 here. For each Digimon card in this Digimon's Digivolution card with Greymon in its name, other than Doru, Burning, or Dexdoru, or Hybrid in its form, this Digimon gains +1 security attack, right? Also, on deletion, you can replace him with another level 4. So, again, his on deletion effect works so much better with the Agunimon than Lobomon's. Lobomon's, again, his when Digivolving is what gets you into your Ancient, whereas Agunimon is just when attacking. So literally you can swing with your Agunimon, Digivolve up into this Ancient Greymon, do a whole bunch of security checks, he dies. If you have another Agunimon, this promo Agunimon in hand, you can hard play it, right? And next turn, you can just do the same play again. It's so good. It is so good. I mean, I'm so jealous. I mean, normally, the thing that's nice about the Ancient Garurumon is you get 2 attacks with it, right? He swings and then unsuspends himself and swings again. He can potentially unsuspend someone else also. So in theory, you could maybe, in an ideal world, get 4 security checks. Or you can clear 4 Digimon off the field, assuming you can beat over them. So that is nice, but the Agunimon and Ancient Greymon combo is just really good for just doing it repeatedly over. You can literally do this combo 4 turns in a row. Yeah, just because he's going to replace himself and replace himself and replace himself and replace himself, and you just keep going into Ancient Greymons. Again, assuming you have them in hand, but still, you can. Whereas the Lobomon, you can't do that at all. That's not how it works. It's only when Digivolving. But yeah, so what is our ideal setup here? So we want, of course, the Agunimon, and then we want to Digivolve the Agunimon on top of the Flamemon, okay? So that's going to give us 2 hybrids underneath the Ancient Greymon, which means he is swinging for 3 security checks in total. So he's got +2 and then his innate one. At 13,000 DP, potentially more if you have one of the Gigimon underneath him that's live. So 14k, even if you're playing in a mirror match or into an Ancient Greymon deck or Ancient Garurumon deck, you can beat over those as well. 14k also beats over Nidhogg, which is a very likely chance that you'll run into a green deck out there. And most green decks are at least playing a couple Nidhoggs, so a little insurance on being able to beat over that is pretty good there. But yeah, so I mean, that's just really incredible potential there, and it's fairly memory efficient, honestly. Even if you Digivolved the Flamemon here on top of your egg and then go into the Agunimon to pass your turn, that's your first turn. So it's going to come back to you. So on your second turn, you swing with the Agunimon, and then boom, you go into the Ancient Greymon here and clear a whole bunch of security. He's going to replace himself at the end of the turn. And then next turn, you can just do it again. That'll have the entire security cleared. So all you need to do is on your turn 2, play something before you attack. Okay, so it can't be. It's probably going to be like a Monitormon or something like that to just get one more body to swing for game, and that's all you need. So literally, this is another play right here to win on turn 3. So you swing turn 2. Get your triple security checks off, replace himself with another Agunimon, and then when it comes back to you, swing again with your Ancient Greymon, go into it again to clear another 3 security checks, and then swing for game with whatever that rookie was. A lot more difficult to do than the Aldamon. Aldamon's a little bit more difficult, less pieces of the puzzle. With this one, you need 2 Agunimons and 2 Ancient Greymons. Even with your Digivolving, remember, every time you Digivolve into this Ancient Greymon with this effect, draw. Remember to draw. A lot of people are like, do I draw with that? That's like an effect. Is it proper? You're still Digivolving, people, so you can still draw for that. So, difficult, yes. Like I said, this is a fun deck. This is not meant to, this is going to destroy the meta. You can, win turn 3, all these different ways with this one deck. Yes, but it requires a decent amount of luck to start with a good hand and to draw into the things that you need. But that aside, the gimmicks aside, we do still have some solid pieces here. Phoenixmon at a 2 of, and the War Greymon at a 2 of. It's pretty easy to get put at 2 memory. However, if you have a memory fixer on your field, going to the War Greymon is really nice because you go into him on top of like a Voltdramon and a Greymon with his own effect. That's +3, so he's checking 4 security, and no option cards are getting triggered. That's pretty awesome. No option cards and 4 security checks. Yikes! War Greymon putting in some work. Even Phoenixmon, though, is still checking 3 security, right, at a big boy 12,000 DP. And again, you just need one of these underneath to give him, you know, a nice little buff. You get both of them, he's at 14k. Yeah, he's a big boy at 14k. He's swinging over a lot of stuff. So yeah, Phoenixmon, still awesome. War Greymon, also awesome. I did debate going into the new 2-cost evolution level 6, just because on your turn when you know he goes up to I think 13,000. So I debated playing him just because when you attack, you know, you're trying to win. So going into the 13,000 with that 1 buff, that gets you over the Nidhoggmon. Both of them get you over Chaosmon. So the other one, the dinosaur guy, is definitely worth looking at instead of this one. That's more personal preference for sure. It's just I don't know. Just something else to think about. It's still just as good, I think. Both those guys, these guys are awesome, though, just as a alternate win condition, basically. If you can't do the Aldamon turn 3 win, or you can't do the Agunimon and Ancient Greymon turn 3 win, you still can do this as well as just clear a crap ton of security and be beastly, you know. Again, fun deck, but got a lot of power. Got a lot of power behind it. All right, next up we have the tie here. This tie, if you have him on field with the War Greymon by himself is checking 5 security now. Yeah, we couldn't do that before, but now with the Voltdramon in the evolution chain potential, we can literally OTK with War Greymon now, because with tie and all these inheritables for this +1 security tax, yeah, pretty awesome. You can Digivolve all the way up into the Ancient Greymon, but like I said, you really just want to do it on top of the Agunimon because of the inheritable of reducing it. Taking this 5 down to a 3 is a lot more manageable. But yeah, if you could Digivolve him on top of the Agunimon, yeah, it doesn't matter what level 5 is underneath it. You're going to get the +1 security attack for that. So that's 1. You're going to get the +1 for the Agunimon here. And if you have a Flamemon underneath as well, that's going to be +3 security that you can get with your Ancient Greymon. And if you have the tie on field, that's another 5 security in total check. That's +4 security attack with the innate regular attack is 5 checks. So yeah, OTKing is just a thing, apparently, that decks like to do these days. This last little bit, though, we have the Marcuses. Marcus is just here to, again, memory fixing is very important, but our strategy is ultimately to get into, is to either do the Ancient Greymon with the Agunimon play, or to get into the Aldamon play, and it's not necessarily to get into these other ones. So having the ability to maybe get some bonus memory here and there when possible is really nice. So that's why I put him in at the 2 of and the tie at the 1 of, just because actually getting 4 or more Digivolution cards is very difficult, because he's not going to apply to the Aldamon play. He's not going to apply to your Lobomon transforming into the Ancient Greymon. He's not going to work with either of those strategies. So the Marcus is a little bit more viable. I honestly wish there was a third option, because I'd probably pick that, because neither of them are really what we want. We just really want the memory fixing is ultimately what we want. So until we get some BT5, BT6 tamers, you know, this is what we got to choose from for red for fixing our memory. Next up, we got 3 Gaia Force. 4 is too cloggy. If you played red, you know how it goes. That 4 is just way too cloggy. 3 of is solid, though. It can have a chance to hit in security pretty well. You want to draw into maybe 1 or 2 just in case. Like I said, these decks can win really fast, so Gaia Force almost isn't even necessarily needed some of the times, but just depending on the deck. Say you play Mega Zoo, right? You play Mega Zoo and they give you a bunch of memory, you just Gaia Force away whatever it was that they put down on you. Alright, and our last little tech card here is a Delicate Plan. We saw this one used a whole bunch with Ragna, right? Ragna Lordmon used Delicate Plan pretty well. Again, Red likes their OTK strategies, and Red Ragna was very similar to this. I mean, while yes, we're just trying to build up into these big super things to swing for a whole bunch, this deck is just doing it differently. It's the same strategy, just done in a completely different manner. But yeah, so a Delicate Plan is still good, though. One cost evolution is nothing. I mean, that's so cheap. And not triggering any option cards in security is just insane. So if you don't want to do the War Greymon here, you can do the Phoenixmon or the Dinosaur one. Any of these plays down here, I mean, the possibilities are endless. You can literally use this card whenever, and you can probably still see value off of it, as long as you're getting multiple security checks. And that is the total deck. I hope you guys liked it. Like I said, it's a fun deck. I don't think it's going to be winning anything anytime soon, but I think in a good, just fun environment, it could really show some really good potential for sure. In a not too crazy meta, maybe don't play yellow, just because yeah, they're gonna just clear whatever you leave on field. Your promo Agunimons, right? 4K DP, that's just in prime range for War Groundmon to take down. Aldamon here is just in prime for /Angemon to take down with his own Digivolving. Yeah, be careful. You're not going to have this Ancient Greymon just sitting out there, right? He's going to come out, he's going to blow up, and then he's going to get replaced with another, weaker Digimon. So the stuff can die very easily to any sort of removal. So it's very much a bring it out, immediately swing with it, get a whole bunch of security checks because it's probably about to die immediately, right? Same with the Aldamon. Once you pass turn, it goes back down to 7,000. It doesn't stay at that nice big buff. So it's a lot easier for them to run this over. So you just need to get your one big swing out of it and then probably count on it unfortunately dying. Same thing with all this other stuff. But it's still fun either way, and you can keep getting these big plays off. It's just absolutely insane that you can just repeatedly do these big plays for not a whole lot. You don't have to get them into your level 6s like the hard way. You don't have to get into crazy level 7s, with all this memory. It doesn't take a whole lot of memory just to get crazy swings out of this deck. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and comment, as well as subscribe if you haven't already. If you enjoy this type of content, I try to put it out as much as possible, so definitely subscribe. Also, if you really enjoyed the content, check out my Patreon. I have a link in the description below for it. You can get access to my Discord server, as well as if you're a Dragon Village M fan, account takeovers where I help you out with your account. If you're a Digimon fan, I've got monthly giveaway, well, not even giveaways, I've got monthly merch that's specific to Patreon, stuff like memory counters, custom made. This is the baby form of Vmon here. There's going to be more in the works also, so lots of memory counters, all kinds of awesome Digimon merch. So definitely check out that tier, and if you're just all out crazy, there's other tiers if you're that dedicated. As well as check out my Teespring. I've got awesome merch there, official Battle Ready Ink merch, awesome phone cases for you Digimon fans out there. They've got them for iPhones as well as Samsungs, so they are super sweet. If you've seen the last Digimon movie, that's where these are from. I had a friend of mine custom make these so that way they fit perfectly on these phone cases. They look super good, so definitely check those out. But at the end of the day, if you can't do any of that, just like I said, like the video, that helps a ton, and subscribe. It doesn't hurt, but it helps me. So that's what's the real benefit. And as always, I'll see you next time.